Hey everybody, Shane here, Shoebox Legends. Thanks for joining me today for an episode that I am really excited to get to. This is going to be a showing of two monster Nolan Ryan cards that I landed for my personal collection. Just so happened that they surfaced within days of each other. I actually won both of these in the same week, and I'm honestly just ecstatic. And the cards that you see up in the background are all sort of involved or somewhat related to the story. And so let's just get into it. I'm going to start with the bigger of the two. So the card that you see all the way on the right, this is a Curt Flood 1966 Topps card, but it's a buyback. And I've talked about these plenty of times. The Topps original buybacks. These came out in the year 2015. And these were Topps cards, vintage Topps cards that were bought back by Topps, stamped with the stamp, and then issued as inserts in 2015 Topps, I think Topps Update Baseball specifically. I know I opened a hobby box of Update that year and landed about 5 or 6 of those myself. So I've been collecting those for years. And recently a Nolan Ryan buyback surfaced that honestly made me drop everything that I was doing. I was practically drooling on myself. Had never seen one of these. I knew it was going to be expensive. And so right away, I started looking around at my collection for things that I could potentially sell to raise some funds to go after this card. I'm not a millionaire. I don't have the hobby budget that some folks do. I certainly have plenty to spend on cards, and I'm not complaining. But the way that I buy big cards usually is by selling things in my collection to kind of build up to them. I don't very often buy comma cards, for example. I haven't bought one in almost 2 years now, maybe longer. It's just not my style. But in this case, I was prepared to pay comma card prices. That's how bad I wanted this buyback. So I started looking around and ultimately decided to part with my 1957 Topps Ted Williams, which was in a PSA 6. And the reason I did that, for a long time, it was my only playing era Ted Williams card. But earlier this year, I was able to land this 51 Bowman, which is absolutely gorgeous and is now my favorite Ted Williams card in my collection. And while I maybe wouldn't have done this in the past, I've gotten a little bit better at realizing I'm just not going to collect everything. So by acquiring the 51 Bowman Williams, it made my 57 Topps Ted Williams expendable. I may not have sold it if it was as centered as this Willie Mays, for example, but it was very off-center top to bottom. And I knew it was a card that, graded a 6 would return a good amount of money. And as it turns out, that Ted Williams sale alone was enough money after fees to cover the big card that I wanted to go after. So I ended up winning this Nolan Ryan buyback at about half of, or less, actually less than half of what I was prepared to pay for it. So here it is from the Topps 2015 original buyback program, the one and only, as far as I know, Nolan Ryan rookie card buyback. So, just like the Curt Flood that we talked about a moment ago, this is Nolan's 1968 Topps card. Topps bought this back in the wild, probably in the year 2014 sometime or early 2015, stamped it with this Topps original stamp, and then this very card was inserted in a pack of 2015 Topps Update Baseball. And I have never seen one of these in my life. As I said, when I stumbled upon it, I almost fell off my chair, literally. I knew that I was going all in and I was just going to throw a Hail Mary, nuclear type bid at this card, because if you know me and my collecting, there are very few things that bring me more joy than buybacks and Nolan Ryan. And combining those two, getting this epic, iconic rookie card of my personal favorite player growing up and one of the hobby darlings of all time, getting the rookie, the only buyback, as far as I'm concerned, that exists. Maybe there's another out there. They don't release print runs or population reports for the buyback program. It's just part of the mystery. But I can tell you in my years, almost 10 years now, of continually searching for buybacks on all types of platforms and in person, I have never seen one of these. It's likely a Pop 1. It is definitely, it's graded 2, so it's a worn copy of the rookie card. Don't care at all. In fact, my rookie that you see in the background here is a 2.5, so it kind of works out nicely. But despite that, this is a Pop 1 in any grade, which is exactly what I expected when I looked it up. It's likely the only one in existence, and I am just honored, beyond excited that this card ended up in my collection. And believe it or not, this came home for right around the same price as just an everyday PSA 2 Nolan Ryan rookie. I was expecting to have to pay a premium because there are other buyback collectors out there, and Nolan Ryan fanatics are just brutal to try to compete with. So I was very, very surprised that this finished right around what a normal PSA 2 Nolan Ryan rookie would go for. I think it ended up in the perfect collection. I do like to think that I have one of the best buyback collections anywhere in the hobby. And yeah, adding this centerpiece to that is just, I got this in the mail like 2 or 3 days ago, and it's just been out on my desk, and every so often I just take it out and just smile for like 20 minutes and stare at it. It's the perfect card for me. I am not going to free it from its graded encapsulation here. I'm going to leave it in the PSA holder. I'm just too nervous to do anything to it. So it won't make, unfortunately, the buyback Frankenset binder. It's going to be kind of my one exception to that. But it is, without a doubt, the single greatest buyback card in my collection, I would say, at this point. And absolutely made my week, month, and year in the hobby, even decade, tracking that card down. That's how ecstatic I was to win that, and how obsessed I was with it once I kind of came up with the idea of selling some cards and going after it. So, as I mentioned, it only took the Ted Williams sale to acquire that particular card, but I had listed maybe 6 or 7 cards to try to raise up funds because I didn't know which ones were going to sell, and it turned out I did better than expected. And one of the other cards that I sold was a Willie Mays, and the rationale was the same. You know, I picked up this 57 Topps Mays recently, which is just absolutely stunning. This is a card for my permanent collection that I'm happy with, that I never want to part with. And so that caused me to take a look at my 56 Topps Willie Mays, which was graded a 3.5 by PSA and was extremely off-center, almost no left border at all, very rough corners, a little bit of surface damage. It was not a good-looking PSA 3.5, put it that way. And with this Mays in hand, same logic as Williams, I don't need them all. I'm not going to complete a player run. Decided to sell that Willie Mays. Made almost $300 on that card, which I was really, really pleased with. And I had enough money to buy the second monster Nolan Ryan that surfaced recently, with some money to spare even. So kind of came out as a net positive here, selling those 2 cards and picking up these 2 Nolan Ryans. So what is the other Ryan I grabbed? It is from the 2011 Topps release, Topps update specifically. And as you know, if you've tuned in here with any frequency, my favorite parallels of all time for any Topps flagship set were in the year 2011. They gave us the Cognac Diamond Anniversary, the Platinum Diamond Anniversary, and the Hope Diamond Anniversary, which are blue, serial numbered to 60. They're all gorgeous. And most importantly, they gave us the retired player short prints, like Nolan Ryan, in parallel format as well. And so I've long had the Cognac and the Platinum Nolan Ryan cards, but this, you know, in the same week that I landed the rookie, this card surfaced. It was at a very high buy it now that I don't think was realistic, but having a little bit of extra money in my account due to the sales that I had been making, I made an offer for half of the asking price, 50% of the asking price, and in about an hour it was accepted. So I couldn't be happier. Here's the other new Nolan Ryan, this one a modern card from 2011 Topps Update, the Hope Diamond Anniversary Nolan Ryan. Absolute stunner. There's so much to love about this card. As I mentioned, these are all numbered to 60. So you can see I have copy 6 of 60 here. But just like with the rookie card, this is an early career photo of Nolan Ryan with the Mets. It's a Mets card, and I think the blue of the Hope Diamond Anniversary parallel just works so well with those Mets colors. This is actually losing a little bit, probably in the reflection from this case that it came in. Don't want to take it out yet because I may submit this for grading. It's one of those cards being numbered to 60 that really doesn't even matter what I get for a grade on it, but I would like to get it encapsulated at some point. When I tell you I've wanted one of these for over a decade, I am not exaggerating. Cards numbered to 60 just get so tough as time goes by, and just so relieved and excited to finally land the Nolan Ryan in this in this parallel. And, another thing about these, I've talked with hobby friends about them, but this card is from 2011 Topps Update. And, as most of you know, there's another very popular card in 2011 Topps Update, probably the most popular card of the 21st century, the Mike Trout rookie card, number US 175. And so, only being 60 of these to begin with, I would imagine that some of that 60, is still sitting inside unopened wax. And if you spend any time researching the prices of unopened 2011 Topps Update wax, you will be blown away. And I would submit that most of that stuff is going to stay unopened, if not permanently, for the foreseeable future. And so these just are so scarce. It's from such an important set. My favorite set when it comes to parallels, and I'm a parallel junkie, my favorite player, and just an epic modern card. If you were collecting back in 2011, or if you're into these parallels, you definitely understand what a big card this is. Maybe pales in comparison, when you line it up with a buyback 1-of-1 rookie card, but nonetheless, those are just two of the best Nolan Ryans that I've added to my collection of the man in years now. And it's just amazing how it worked out. Selling cards that I already had to fund them, and having both of those surface within the same calendar week after all these years of searching. It was just a very, very rewarding hobby experience, and a good example of something that I talk about a lot, which is, especially if you've been at it a while, using your existing collection to fund your new collection. I could not have just reached out and grabbed those two Nolan Ryans out of left field, or at least I wouldn't want to take on that amount of financial damage by acquiring those two cards. But looking around at what you already have, making some sales is a great way to kind of reinvent your collection, bring some new excitement and enthusiasm into what you're doing. And that's certainly happened here. So I've gone on for 12 minutes on just two cards here. I'm going to wrap it up, but hopefully my excitement came across, because these are just two absolutely epic cards for the player that I enjoy collecting probably more than any other, certainly on the baseball side of the house. So appreciate you stopping by to check out these sweet Nolan Ryans. And as you know, I'll be back very soon with some more content. Till then, I hope you all take care and enjoy the hobby. See ya.